go down south. Okay. Mr. Hearst never had a home in LA. He leased the floor of the Ambassador Hotel. So that was, and it is an impressive guest house. But that's what it is. I mean, that's an 18-room. Died over there. Oh, that's impossible. Yeah.
But this would be like one of those big Australian sheep stations. So I think cattle store.
Yeah. Cattle, yes, cattle, absolutely.
Absolutely right. And it's a pure white marble. There are 2 pockets of it known to exist in the world. Most of the world calls it Carrara, just like you did. But there is a pocket of it in the state of Colorado. And it's called Colorado Whitestone in the Rockies.
Hearst just dismissed it. They're inferior. Hearst said, "You're a thousand." One of Hearst's guests, John Wayne, asked him to look at the furniture. They're going to go see the Great Lakes. But the odds of them going to the Coliseum are small as well. That's the under by driveway is 300 miles. That'd be like driving here to San Diego. We'll see it. That's in Malta. Oh, I guess that's under 6,000.
Those are the 3 sisters. Let's lost our fire to come in Italia.
Outside the last 3,600 years. She predates the Great Lakes. She's from Memphis on the Nile. Her name is Second. There really isn't much to the state or any curator. What is in your heart before your mind creates the work. Pretty basic. See, good place for hide and go seek. Play all day. 600 years ago. So don't think Pacific, think Mediterranean. And if you had the chance to go to Spain. By one of the guests, what's his involvement here? I mean, you know, he pays the bills, but does he do anything? She said, you must not know him well. She said, Simeon is William Randolph Hearst. She said, as principal architect, she was fortunate. She could supply technical knowledge to his designs and his desires. But those were exclusively his. She said, had he chosen to have been a design architect, there would have been no need. He has these kind of fantasy ideas and such like that. So he built these fanciful designs. And, you know, they might come in handy one day. That doesn't hurt. See, there we go. You sound Frankie Shaw, the Crown Prince is Shaw. So there's an order of succession. Getty was here only once in '39. He said it was actually a very exciting experience actually to meet when Gloria Vanderbilt fashioned California in 1542. So here we are, Spanish. And that's the Good Friday, Holy Thursday Missal. And we only open it once a year on Easter Holy Week because to keep it open with the Ambrose spine, the back of the book. And it's an illuminated, illustrated manuscript. I mean, we're in the choir, we're all on the same page. So, it's like the sign sheet. This is Ostia Antica, the port of Rome, 2nd century AD.
Now I like how the Romans are influenced by the Etruscans with these artistic smiling fish about 1800 years ago. Oh, it's one of just 234 fireplaces for the romantics. The electricity is
Yeah, please come in. Around.
That's silver and spun gold. Perfect, perfect. New wood to the cathedrals that sell them. These Americans will buy anything. You know how the Americans are. And you can buy them by the running meter. How many yards would you like? What century do you prefer? These were a foot taller than those. So for the symmetry of the room, they had to be cut down by a foot. Everything in this room is in platonic, harmonic, logical balance. You should be able to cut this room and cut it again, and it will be a mirror image of itself. These are not accidental designs. About half of that is from the 16th century. The other half was made for him. He needed more. Didn't have enough.
Question. You know that GW Crystal TV.
Looking at what Hollywood can do. When Hearst produced Captain Blood with Errol Flynn, or Tarzan the Ape Man with Johnny Weissmuller, or Young Mr. Lincoln with Henry Fonda, The Thin Man with William Powell, Myrna Loy. Those are all Hearst movies, produced by Hearst. And when he was asked once, is there money in Hollywood and all that kind of stuff, and yet, yeah, I don't think Russell Crowe was wrong. And yet I like the movie very much, in other words. You could do anything, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, novels and novellas like this gentleman was saying about Mr. Hearst. But there were no purely Hearstian elements in the film. But he was in love with her. I think she's a fine person.
Did she have any input?
Okay. Yeah, when you go to kayaking, it's really simple. As rich as the
Hey, Todd, you're doing great.
yeah, and then here you've got all.
On the right side of the fireplace, there's the same chair that you can sit there.
Palio de la Siena. It's a religious festival in Siena. And then what you do is get blood. That's a good question. The person was desperate. If anybody feed me out there.
Sweetheart, the chair is right there if you want, or if you go behind Sean, there's a chair right there.
Not kind of the way you're saying it, but you're right. You're right. First of these to be incandescent. We've gone over to more modern technology now, and that makes the rooms darker. These rooms are much better lit with an incandescent bulb than they are with the halogens and things like that. To myself, you're going to have to learn how to run a computer like a 12-year-old, or you're going to be left. You're going to be free. I still keep my Underwood typewriter I used in grad school, but I don't use it. It just sits on the desk next to my computer. If you don't follow technology, you will be left. I have never believed, as Mr. Hearst used to say, that one person is superior to another. I agree with him. But as Hearst used to say, technologies are superior or inferior. Well, look at the history of the world. Superior technology drives the world forward. Ketchup was his favorite spice, and he writes his wife at least once a week. He calls her maybe once a month, how are you doing? They're not enemies, they're just not lovers. But she still loves him very, very much. Actually, I wish the state wasn't so fire code conscious. We no longer have fresh greenery, we no longer have lit candles. I remember years ago when I first came to work here in the evening, curatorial staff would go through with lighters and big long silver, and they would light the candles, just as Mr. Hearst had always done. Under Cal Fire, they don't like that.
There's room on this side too, if you want to sit down.
Yeah, so this is from Italy.
Do you have any thoughts about creating
Thank God for the church in Rome. They'd sell anything. Hearst was quite happy about it.
Yeah, but why? I mean,
Because they're beautiful. And he wants Americans to see beautiful things. He knows that you're from Sheboygan. You're never... Because the world of art is based on religion. Yeah. There's virtually... Even humanism is a type of religion for modern theology in that sense. And if I'm going to lead a great faith, I want to show the dominance of my faith. Whether I'm the Church of Rome or I'm the Caliph of Granada, it makes no difference. Yeah, that's it. It's perfect. Solely for art. That's more slowly. There you go. Perfect. Well, yeah, I'm going to find out. This is Babastro, Spain, circa 1480. The tapestry is Burgundian. The tapestry is older than that, Simeon. And Jeanne d'Arc dies in 1431 as a comparison. Keyboard in the hallway plays the bells and the towers.
so he's built the whole thing.
There we go. It's obviously unclean to the human body. The guy in the bow tie is A.P. Giannini, founder and president of Bank of America. Anybody remember Hedda Hopper? Okay, I'm with you guys. Okay, I'm here. It's getting rough on the tour route now. I keep getting asked who was Cary Grant, who was Clark Gable. Some generations just don't know. That's just the way it is. Pretty girls posing, what a shock. Here's Chaplin playing tennis, but I fear for his victory. His opponent is named Bill Tilden, who won the U.S. Open 7 times. Carol Lombard on the right in that cloche hat, married to an actor named Clark Gable. Very fancy Hollywood film stars, and they called each other Ma and Paul. Down by the stables. More tobacco. There's everybody smoking now. Well, there's William Randolph Hearst, that's about 1934. That's about the time he met the Reichschancellor outside Tempelhof Airfield. That was September 16th, 1934. Berlin.
Why did he do that?
Because he wanted to beg for the lives of the Jews, and the gypsies and the homosexuals, and nobody else would go. So Hearst went. Remember, in 1934, by any source you'd like to read, Adolf Hitler is the most popular elected leader in the world. And William Randolph Hearst was kind of an old reprobate yellow journalist. Who's he to go talk to an elected chancellor? He went. He tried. He failed. But he tried. Of course not. Remember in 1938 when Franklin Roosevelt said, quote, "We must all follow in the footsteps of the Reichschancellor," end quote. That's the president of this country in 1938. Remember, Hitler was viewed as a bulwark, protection against the godless communists, the Russians, the East, in other words. So all of a sudden, when he turned on them, they weren't quite ready for that. And if you keep a pet cobra one day, be prepared. Hearst was asked once, he interviewed everybody, what about Joseph Stalin? He said, no, I've never had the pleasure, but I'm sure if I ever met Marshal Stalin, it most certainly would be my last. Yeah, in other words, he killed him. Stalin called Hearst, what do you call him? Hitler's stooge. And Hitler called Hearst at one time Stalin's stooge. And Hearst said, I'm nobody's stooge, I'm just a Democrat. That's our guy. These movies are fun, though. I like watching them. Now he could flick a switch and lower that screen direct, there he is, 1935, and lower it directly into the floor. He heard that you're a lovely singer and you're a magnificent dancer. Story, they are called the Women of Carius, and that story comes from 480 BC. But when we get here, our time is pretty much gone. I sincerely want to thank you all for coming. I mean, this is your park. You took the time.
I'll walk down this way so you guys can see the tennis court, and then you're going to see the indoor pools. It's not stairs, it's only walking. גג שיש בו padding, איך אומרים? שזה הכדור לא יישמע. כמו ספוגים כאלה. They're too much to fix. Look at that tree. Yeah, wow. That's where the Roman pool is. Where's my arm? Is there a guard? Roman pool.
איזה זהב, ופה היה נקנה חופשי.
אבל זה טיפה, נצלם ברצפה.
זה מחפצה, that's a right here, that's where they usually jump there. Now, you see the plastic in here? Okay. Now your shoes.
It's one of those liners. Pretty deep here.
Yeah, I go
See it slowly.
Let me know when you're done with taking pictures, the actual bust. All of us are going to go up anyway. I'm going to go because we're not ready to leave yet.